I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
All right, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is the 121st episode of the Political Spotlight. Welcome. It's Sunday evening. What a beautiful, beautiful day outside we have had here in the Midwest. Wow, it's amazing. What a wonderful day. It's going to be cool over the next couple days. So for you people that love crazy hot temperatures in summertime, that sucks to be you. For us fat people, it's going to be amazing. Hello there. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm obviously your host, Christopher H. Bilbrey. Kate is doing her Kate thing. I'm dyslexic, so just deal with it. 221, 122, 222. What is it? It's the 221st episode. Did I really say 121? Did I really say 121? I'm having the hardest time with these two numbers. I've got to tell you, I've been podcasting all of my life. And by that, I mean the last 7 years. See, I'm not good with numbers. I need to take my shoes off. So the thing is, I've been podcasting for a long time, and I have never made it past 200. I have said, 98, 100, 156, 175, 188, 19, but I've never made it to 200. So I'm very happy that we are here in the 200th episode series that we're in the 200s. So it's just hard to say. I'm so used to saying other numbers other than 200. Could you imagine being like Joe Rogan and being like, this is the 1000th, 16, what does he say? 1635. Welcome to show 1635. Man, that'll be amazing. Anyways, welcome to the show. Whatever the number is, that really doesn't matter. We run this ship more like a radio show, so it is what it is. Welcome to the show. If numbers matter to you, call up Craig Wright or Matt Wegley. They can help you with your numbers. We're all about the speech here. Producer Kate's down in the duck doing what she does. Thank you all for tuning in and giving us a bit of your time. We understand how valuable your time is, and we are honored that you've decided to share some of that valuable time with us. Before we get into tonight's show, I want to ask you all to consider hitting the like button and remind all of you that are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, it won't cost you anything, but it will allow you to set up your notifications so you'll know when we're live or when we drop content. I put out another little bite-size episode this morning of what kind of happened up at the retreat this weekend. I'm getting ready after the show tonight to drop a little bite-sized episode about 6-8 minutes about the checks and the back of the checks, you know, the Dustin signing and the unknown signature. I'm getting ready to drop a bite-sized show about that. If you subscribe and set up your notifications, you'll get those notifications. So that's something that you can do. For the rest of you, you know, we're live Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. We're here when we're here. Also, we're very interactive. You all know that. If you're a first-time watcher, we are very interactive, and we want you to talk with us. Please comment over here. If you're watching on repeat, comment in the comment box below. And most importantly, please help spread the word. Share the show with everyone you know. That's what matters. So that's all right, Alva. You didn't miss anything. Just pop on. Oh, you won't hear me saying this. I was going to say just skip all that other crap and come on, but you won't know until you get here. And then, so whatever. The blank check as well. Yeah, we covered that. So, okay. Well, here's the thing. We have a lot to talk about. I've been thinking about how I was going to kind of encapsulate, because I've got to tell you, I am tired as hell about talking about this crap from up north. We talked about it for 3 weeks leading up to it. We then attended the meeting, which was a complete cluster and all of that crap. We had a lot of episodes about it. Everybody pretty much knows what occurred. Now, you know, obviously we went up there. Dan didn't let us in. We knew that was going to happen. You know, there's no, it's not like, oh man, I have pictured in my mind that Craig Wright, who's sitting right there. I see you, Alva. Craig Wright, who's sitting there like real close to us. In his mind, the little squirrels turning over, and he's like laughing. Ha ha ha. We're really getting over on Chris. It's like, dude, I don't care. Like, sitting through that meeting more than likely would have been a boring nightmare. I would have had I heard them like chuckling a couple times. I would have had to pretend to like chuckle. You know what I mean? It would have been really insane, and it wouldn't have been a good way to spend that evening. But I was going up there because if they would have let me in the door, I would have been able to broadcast what was going on for everybody. Now, I want to stop here because all of the Dan addicts, all of the people who love him and love everything he's doing and say how wonderful everything he's doing is, I don't want them to have a chance to say, well, we're just watching. Listen, Dan has a right to talk to his department heads without me, or without you, or without any of us being present. Dan has the right to have conversations and meetings with his department heads. Open door laws do not. Open door laws do not apply to the administration. They only apply to voting boards. Okay, to the Board of Works, the council, the MRC, to the Delaware County Commissioners, things like that. You know what I mean? So I get it. The bottom line is he announced that it was going to be an open door meeting. It's posted at his building, or at least it was through yesterday, posted at his building. Yeah, Charlize, any bets on whether it'll be there? I bet he finds a way to pull it down as soon as he gets there. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He didn't pull it down any of last week. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. I want to talk to you about something that Belinda Munson said. Belinda Munson stood before the council on the record last week and said, we were told in a closed door meeting that it was open to the public. We were told that. Now, it's also been floating around that it's now no longer an open meeting, but I have not heard that officially, and I've not been able to get any communication on that. So I can't tell you. The only thing I know is the last thing I heard, it was open to the public. That came from the elected city clerk in a Muncie City Council meeting at the end of the meeting before we all went out into the world. The fact that Dan Ridenour or his communications director or his know-it-all mouthy voice of the city, Shireen Wegley, or her just absolutely troll of a husband, Matt Wegley, or his boss, Craig Wright, or literally anybody else couldn't pull that note down and or make a call to the clerk's office. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm actually hearing that there is a pissing match currently going on between Dan's office and the elected clerk, meaning Shireen Wegley, in her infinite wisdom of being the political mind, and it's she's really running the city. In her mind, she's the puppet master. She has started bullying over on Belinda. And I'm going to tell you, I'm gaining more respect for Belinda, fast respect for Belinda. I'm telling you, I'm okay with battling somebody for. I have lots of friends that I've battled for years, and then one day that battle just ended, and then it was like, oh, well, that person's your enemy? Well, they're my enemy too. Hug it out, bro or sis, and then we're friends, and that's it. So I can respect what Belinda's doing. I can respect Belinda. Belinda's saying, doesn't it make sense that you would have me there? And if the mayor's not talking because he's too afraid to do anything, but the voice of the city is going to bat and batting down Belinda. Belinda needs to put Shireen in her place. Listen, I have the utmost respect for workers, people that are janitors, the people that are taking around and filling up the copy paper, secretaries, the people that make shit work, that hold the business together. What I do not have sympathy or respect for is worthless, two-bit, know-it-all, mouthy nobodies that just run around causing chaos and drama because they thrive in that world. Shireen Wegley is nothing. She is someone that has a job because she won't call the mayor out when he stubs his toe. Because the mayor can't have the very best around like he promised us. The mayor needs sycophants. When the mayor said, I'm going to hire the very best for these positions, he left off the very best sycophants. That's what he meant. And so now we know that. The best ass kissers, yes, absolutely. Belinda is an elected official. Shireen is hired. Belinda has a position of more importance and authority than Shireen. And yeah, Shireen needs to know that. Shireen needs to be knocked down into her place. Shireen just doubts that she would. No, Shireen would not be able to win an election. Abolish you or admonish you? Which one do you want me to abolish you? To make you not exist? Or to just laugh it off and say, oh, well, that's how they talk down there in the bayou. It is what it is. I didn't say it. Hey, GW, can you do me a favor? Can you text? I mean, if you want me to read it, I'll read it. I'll read it. Can you text it to me again? Would you mind? Let me see. I just get so much nonsense. Wait a minute. Is it the one that says, does it start out Dan Camp? Yeah, you can send it to either way. Did you send, does it start out Dan Camp? Just because you claim you can have all 9 council members? Is that what it says? I'm going to tell you folks, he's being inundated. All right, good. Yes. Okay, cool. I will read that here in a minute. When I get down to that section, I will read that. I've got some things. So we've got a lot to cover. This is going to be good. So I'm going to tell you, Ridenour needed to push up on his authority a little bit and to flex his muscle. He needed to be a tough man for once, because he's had a bad last couple of weeks. He's been taking it from all sides. He's been getting it from the council. He's been getting it from, he's been getting it from everybody. And if Dan felt that now's my chance to flex, listen, all of those people inside that room, when they saw me getting kicked out, they think that they're winning. This is how backwards these people are. In the video, and I know it was kind of hard to hear, and I apologize, but in the video, Dan tells me a whole bunch of nonsense, but he comes over, we shake hands, and first and foremost, I want to say, when Richard Ivey and I met each other in the hall, he came up, he fist bumped me, we talked, we had a chat, we talked politely, everything was fine. Richard Ivey didn't say, Oh, Bilbrey, what are you doing here, man? You know you can't go in there, or you know this is closed, or you can't, don't do this. He didn't try to like talk me out of it. He didn't try. He said, come on. He's like, I'm looking for this thing. I'm lost. And I'm like, oh, it's around here, I think. He's like, come on. We were like talking and looking for it together. Walking down the hallway, you can actually, he walks past it. And I said, oh, here it is. And he's like, how do you know? And I said, because that's the name on the door, the Jimenez Lake conference room. He didn't give a shit. He didn't care. Yes, Dale Basham was there. Dale Basham was there. He's in the video. He's sitting back. He's got like a light blue shirt on. He was there. So one councilman was there. Here's who I have. Yeah, no bow tie. Here's who I have attending. This is who I have attending. Ridenour, Ivy, Patricia Goddard. Patricia Goddard is the new HR director. Michelle Owen, Shireen Wegley, Craig Wright, Matt Wegley, Adam Leach, Nate Sloan, Carl Malone, Josh Talby, Donnie Wright, Troy Waters, Adam Williams. Okay. When I go, I know that not everyone that showed up on that spreadsheet yesterday was present in the room yet when Chris went in there. Yeah, because Patricia Goddard, Carl Malone, and Adam Williams all walked past me going in as I was set up after I had been kicked out. They walked in later, like 10 minutes late, 5 minutes later, whatever. So from the administration, that's who I have, those 14 members. And then there were 2 or 3 people from the event, from the Flyleaf or Fly Leads or whatever, the organization that put it on. Then plus a couple people from the hotel. I ask Dan. What does it hurt? Audie. What does it hurt me sitting in here? Dan said, well, I want the people in here to be able to speak freely about their personalities, and not be worried about something being on video or something being a picture being taken of something that happens, and then that picture being edited and being extrapolated out to something that didn't happen. You know what I mean. And he's talking about AI and all of this, yada, yada, yada. Look, I don't know if he still blames me for the city of Munis. Dan, I'm not the city of Munis, bro. I'm not the city of Munis. So then I've been seeing everybody talking about, we'll get to the results here in a minute. So I asked him, what would it hurt? Because at one point he says, this is team building. And Luke Britt told us that we could have all 9 council members here for this team building exercise. And if it was team building, we would not have to allow an open door meeting. Now, for the record, I want to be very clear. There are some trainings and some things that they can do that the council can do by themselves, or the council could do with the administration, in which the public would not be allowed to attend. That's it. That's true. There are some of those things in which they could do that. Again, the issue is, however, how it has been portrayed for the last 3 weeks as an open door meeting, because Dan even said it in there while talking to me. We wanted to go over and beyond. We wanted to do more than. And the reason being is because council members were griping to him. Council members were saying, we're not going to come if it's like this. We're not going to come if it's not open to the public. I don't have a good feeling about this. All right. Now, look, I applaud those councilmen and women. I maybe think we made the mistake. I maybe think that we shouldn't have talked those people out of going. I maybe think that we should have talked them into going. Because I think even if he's saying we don't have to have an open door meeting, I think they would have fought for us to stay in. It would have been harder for him to fight. There's lots of different ways we could have done this. I was talking to somebody about maybe if I wouldn't have stayed the night, maybe if I would have walked, if I would have drove up, and I would have been like, dude, I drove up here. I drove up here. And now you're going to send me home? So there's all sorts of different ways that we could have played this. I'm happy with how it happened. Okay. I'm happy with how it happened. Hello, Jack. I'm happy with how it happened. I feel like we did what we could have done. We did the very best we could have done with, it's that scene. I talk about this all the time. It's that scene from Tim Burton's Batman when the Joker falls into the acid and he goes to the doc in a box, the hole in the wall doctor. And he's like, mirror. And the doctor's like, I don't know. He's like tearing the bandages off. And he looks in the mirror and he starts doing this laugh. Jack Nicholson starts doing his laugh as the Joker for the first time, real hardcore. And the doctor's like, you see the tools I have to work with. That's what I feel like. I do, Brandon. Always. No, you're not the Joker. You're the smoker. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're the Joker or Basham's the smoker or the Midnight Toker. I don't know which one's which. I'll leave that to you and Basham to figure it out. You, Basham, and Dan. I understand. Oh, yeah, Space Cat. Dude, listen to me. Space Cat, Lindsay, Corey, Bori, Fink. Man. She just grew up in the wrong era. And if I could play the Rolling Stones' Mother's Little Helper now, I would do it. I'll just leave it at that. Jack off. I'm telling you, dude, Did you not listen to the whole thing? So here's the deal. Here's the deal, people. We weren't at a city building. If I'm standing in the city building and Dan says leave, I've got no problem saying piss off. Piss off. No problem saying that. However, because we were not at the city building or at the county building or at the state house, because we were in a private property situation, I don't have contractual interest there. It would be the same thing as being in McDonald's. And it wasn't Dan that told me to leave, because I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem telling Dan to screw off. And matter of fact, if you go back and you watch it, when Dan said you can't be here, it's not a thing, blah blah blah, like 2 or 3 times, I kept talking to him. When I left is when the lady over to my left, the one in all dark, she said, you need to go outside if they're asking you to leave. And so that's the first time. And I kind of started to get a little huffy with her. That's why when we went outside and she's like, do you need me to call the CO? And I'm like, the CO? To me, a CO is a corrections officer. She's like, yeah, the conservation. And I'm like, the bunny police? No, I don't need a bunny police, ma'am. We're fine. No one's drowning here. We'll be okay. No one's drowning. So, and that's what I said in the video is I hated the fact of not being able to push back a little bit more against them. But at the end of the day, the point was to show that these people are the least transparent people that have ever been in the administration. Just that's it. That's just simply it. Absolutely. Sure. Right. But keep in mind, Jack, the thing I was trying to do, we were the building that we were in. For those that don't know, the building we were in was a hotel. I had checked into the hotel, and I've got no problem saying this because and I hope they run with it, and they're like, oh, who knows what he was gonna do to us? Because I am an individual who believes in the Second Amendment, I may or may not have had concealed carry with me or in my room or whatnot. So I wasn't wanting to get a situation in which I am now barred from the building. Now I can't try to come back Saturday, because how they had this thing was they had this thing set up in a way where there was a meeting on Friday and a meeting on Saturday. And there was a little bit of discrepancy because of what Dan was saying on whether or not the Saturday meeting would be open. And I that's why I say at the end of the thing, well, I'll be back here and we'll argue this. No, it's not. It just makes me look cool. Cigarettes and smoking let make you look cool, everybody. And since I don't smoke, no, it's a rolled piece of paper. I was playing with it ahead of time and I just rolled it up and now it looks like that. And so I was just holding it. There's my Audi. It's a joint.
Better?
Yeah, there you go. Mine's not so mine's a shorty. So no, I was rolling up it's a half a piece of paper. I'm glad somebody brought that up. My grandma's sitting there saying, "Is he holding a cigarette?" I'm glad somebody brought that up. So anyways, you know, my goal was, well, all right, if I can't get into yeah, if I can't get into it's it's not a joint, you guys. Okay. So, we'll see how many people cut that up and put that into a short. So the thing is, no, the blunt's for her. Who's Bob? Oh, Mayor Bob, yes. I was like, what are we talking about? Cocaine Bob. My grandma just texted and said, "How do you know I said that?" Meaning, is he holding a cigarette? That's hilarious. So the thing is, I thought, okay, if Dan's going to be a fool and not let me into Friday night, then I'm going to try to come back Saturday. Well, obviously, we know I got up. We didn't go back Saturday. It is what it is. It's happened. Now, there's a part that, did we read the part about the, yeah, we did. There's a part, ladies and gentlemen, in the message, because Dan was being an asshole on Saturday and Friday for that much. Look, Dan, the days of Dan and I being polite with one another are over. We have separated those days out, and those are long gone, and now we're just enemies. I'm fine with that. Dan is a formidable, Dan is not a formidable enemy. He is one of the weaker. He will be gone. He'll be out of here. We won't know him, and we'll be past him and move on to better and worse and stronger people. Dan is weak. Weak of mind, weak of constitution. He is not a true Republican, in my opinion. He's maybe one of these newer Republicans. He's not a conservative. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He's a man of many tears. That's pretty funny. I gotta say, as far as council and everything goes, I do miss, I miss, lunch is off the calendar. Stumblefoot, stick around, bro. We're going to talk about Hoyt here in a minute, too. My grandma and you need to have a meeting, because I think you guys are going to go up and protest Hoyt, because she's got a thing or two to say about Hoyt. Anyway, he's not really a real man, you know. I agree with that. I miss Jeff. I miss Troy. I miss whatever. Now, I've got to be honest. Nora is doing an all right job. I mean, what a weird world we're in, where I'm saying I'm respecting Belinda and I'm kind of cheering on Nora a little bit. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, Audie, stick around. We're going to talk about Hoyt here in a minute. So the thing is, I left. That it was what it was. We left Saturday. We're not going to talk about it tonight. We've got other things we got to talk about, but we're going to What happened to Bilbrey about what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? I'm like pausing. I need to know what you're talking about. Wasn't McShirley somewhat like Dan in a way? Oh yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying because of Nora and all that stuff. Yeah. Let me see. McShirley was horrible. Dan is like McShirley but worse. Man, McShirley was bad. I'll tell you someone who was good. Was Dan Cannon. Dude, listen, I will take another Jim Carrey. Holy crap. Bring me back to the days of Jim Carrey chaos and craziness. But Cannon wasn't bad. So here's the thing. I said at the end of my text to Dan on Saturday, last thing, do you have any, they couldn't ever get him. They couldn't ever get Carey. He was too slippery for him. Do you have a comment about the EMS employee who the city and / fire departments getting ready to fire or to terminate next week due to the patient death that resulted in a death of a patient because of lack of care? Dan didn't have anything to say about that. Now, I let that ride because we had bigger fish to fry, but we're going to have to start to talk about what's going on with the fire department at some point. So just keep that in the back of your heads, Muncie people. Not tonight, but it's coming. We're going to have to talk about the fire department coming up real soon. So I just wanted Dan to know, because at that point, Saturday morning, very few people would have known about that. Very few people, like literally, the fire chief, the mayor, and Christopher Bilbrey. So, I just like letting Dan know that I'm inside his head. You know what I mean? He's been arrested. Has he been terminated? I think they've already terminated him, or they're working on it. I don't know what's going to happen. But the fire department's in a bad way right now. We're going to come back to that. All right, so Saturday morning, I get back here, and of course the notice of it being an open meeting is still up. It's still up. That's insane. You mean to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that after all of the kerfluffle that happened Friday, and after everything that then happened Saturday, that Dan Ridenour, Richard Ivey, Michelle Owen, Shireen Wegley, Nate Sloan, the chief of police, between the 5 of them, they couldn't contact somebody down here to say, hey, we're really getting some grief because of that piece of paper. Do whatever you got to do to get it out of there. If you've got to bust the cabinet open to get it out, bust the cabinet open. If you've got to peel it off the wall, peel it off the wall. If you gotta burn the building down, get rid of that piece of paper. Nobody up there could do that. And now listen, they might be like, well, what's the point? The point is it's been up for 3 weeks. That's the confusion. I've had more than a couple people tell me I need to talk to my attorney about this. That there's some issues maybe at play here. Because it's being said that early last week, they were already saying, we're not letting Bilbrey come in before it had been finalized. Shireen Wegley was saying that and making comments to people, we're not letting Bilbrey come in. Bilbrey's not going to be coming in. I don't care if Bilbrey's got a room there or not. Bilbrey's not staying up there. Bilbrey's not coming in. So on my way back, star that idea because I need to come back to that. Star Alva because I want to come back to that. That is very important. So when I went up there and I took video of it, I made a pull back. First of all, people started texting me and saying, dude, are you watching what's going on the City of Muncie's page? And I said, no, what's going on? And they're like, people are like messaging me and being like, did you see what the City of Munis page put out? And then they're like, oh my God, no, it's not the City of Munis. It's really Muncie. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And they're like, dude, they're putting out like these little clips. They're putting out this stuff where they're saying like what they learned, what they've been doing up there, and it looks really bad for them. It doesn't look good. Like they wouldn't let you come in, and then they still decided to share this. This looks nuts. And I'm like, what are you talking? You know, I was driving here, so I had no clue what they were talking about. Oh, we're coming to that. I'm slow walking you to it. We're coming to it because we are definitely gonna talk about that here. That's what this whole show's about. You thought what was private? Yeah, you thought this stuff was private. It looked more like a kindergarten placement. Well, so it says the team from Firefly, Fortify Leads did an excellent job with the first training session yesterday evening. We did a Clifton strengths assessment and gained a much better understanding of how we can best utilize our strengths as a team. Okay. Well, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, this administration is not new. Okay. Now, I understand that Dan has a hard time keeping department heads. I get it. But they've been in office for 4 years. Dan's plan and Dan's way of rolling things is around. Now, I'm not saying that there's not room to improve. There's always room for people to improve. But these people are talking like they've literally just met each other. You know, you've got people going around saying like the counselors don't know what department heads to go to, and the department heads don't know who each other is, and they don't know what their hopes and their dreams are. Well, excuse me, then they obviously didn't hire the best people for the job. Because if these people have been in these positions for going on 5 years now, and they don't know this stuff, that's a problem. I know they have a new HR director, but if she couldn't print out the Myers-Briggs assessment or have someone come in and do the Myers-Briggs personality test or do this Clifton thing on a Monday morning at City Hall, then I question what kind of HR personnel director she is. That's what they do. So the fact that the citizens of Muncie needed to foot the bill for these idiots to drive up to Angola and take this test. Why? One of these pages, I looked at it and their answers spelled out F in the green column, and then in the blue column, in the brown column, it was like a U, and in the blue column, it was like C. I'm like, wait, all this is spelling. What's this spelling? What are these people doing? They're just letting us, the citizens, know how they feel about us. So, Kate, I know that we've been putting something together. We're not doing something with that now, are we? When are we doing something with that? Coming up soon?
Whenever you want to, and when you tell me exactly who you want to see on that.
Okay. We'll do that. Because I was a little MIA today. I'll get with you tomorrow, and we can do that maybe tomorrow evening or the next time. So I just didn't want to rush you. But because
I know you have a lot to talk about tonight, so
yeah, that's fine.
But we will be going over this in more detail, right?
Yeah. So this is I want everyone to understand. Kate and Brandon have been dissecting this, and I think you looked up the way to scale it, and the way to to read it, and to assess what people, what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah.
But one thing that anyone that can look at this is nobody did a good job or scored high marks in communication. Like all of the areas that you would think public servants should score high in, none of these people scored high in.
Oh, I don't think, did the communications director have one of her top 5 strengths being in communications at all?
No. For example, the communications director did not have one of her top 5 strengths being, she didn't have communications, or what was the other one Brandon said? The ability to, oh,
I can't remember.
Change people's minds, or the ability to sell people on an idea. Influence, basically.
Yeah.
And so like all of the, like this Brandon Clower here says, Brandon Rudd from the show, is interested in these things and is familiar with these assessments, because that's how he thinks it is. I know he walks around. He's like, who Craig Wright reminds me of? Craig Wright reminds me of the Michael Keaton character in Multiplicity, when he keeps making clones of himself. And, in there they have the Michael Keaton's Michael Keaton. Yeah, I'm Beetlejuice. And he's like clones himself. And he's like, the first clone that comes out is a really big, macho man. He's full of testosterone. And then the second one that comes out is like very feminine, maybe a little like he's kind of gay, and he's all like, we need to talk, and this thing, that's what they did. And then the third one comes out, and the doctor says, how like when you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy and it starts not being right? And he's like licking the window and he's hitting himself in the head with a hammer. That's what Craig Wright reminds me of. I'm Craig Wright. You know, that's kind of what I think when I think of Craig Wright. So that's why it's capital letters. So that's what Clone Wars. Yes. So that's what's happened here. This is what went on, and they put this up. And so here's the thing. A lot of people on all sides of this thing had a lot to say. I guess nothing, depending on what was on the window first. There was a lot of people that had a lot to say about this, and people on both sides of the aisle, people on all sides of Muncie, did not like them putting this up. I think, first of all, they didn't like that they went up there to Muncie to do it. It's just really weird. Well, I want to take you in this comment. I put up, first of all right, I want to show you. This is in the other video that we ran the other day. Oh, did I delete this already? Oh, no, I didn't. Look, I saved them. Look how easy that was. We'll do this. And I'll do this. And then we'll do this. So I put this in the other short little video, but I'm going to show you like this because it makes it real easy to do. Friday before I went up, and I say it in the other video, but I'm going to say it again. I went to City Hall on Friday. If they had taken down the note, I was going to make the decision to not go. If they had taken down the note, and I had not told anybody that, I know I would have made people mad, but I was going to say, okay, you know, they're not going to let me in. We'll just bitch about them not letting us in and not being transparent. And I can make shows out of that, yada, yada, yada. Here's Friday at 11:53. Muncie City Hall. Hallway Annex. Friday, June 7th, 11:53 a.m. And the public meeting notice. Okay. Then I went up there. They didn't let me in. They didn't let me in Saturday. And then exactly 24 hours and 3 minutes later, hallway annex, Saturday, June 8th, 11:56 a.m. Muncie public meeting notice. It's amazing that it just happened to be 24 hours and 3 minutes later. Very crazy. So that happened. And I took that video that you saw there from hallway and I shared it in the comments of that Muncie City Council meeting. And I put, look at this. And then this happened. Brandon Clower said, I'd be interested to hear what a lawyer would think about this. To which Shireen Wegley, I'm sending you, no, I'm not. To which Shireen Wegley said, I'd be more interested to know what an attorney thinks about stalking. Yeah, I don't know. What do you mean, Shireen? Like, do they engage in it? Do they like it? Is it a pastime? Do they think that it should be a felony? What do you mean what they think about it? Do they think that it's a bunch of horse shit? Like, what is it that I wish she would have been more specific about what about what she was actually saying there, because that's what I hate about people like that more than anything else, is that they try to be super, super sneaky, and they try to say things without saying actual other things. And it's really nonsensical when they do shit like that. And it's like everybody and their brother knows what she's implying there, but she thinks she's being cute, and she thinks that she's, just she thinks that she's being funny, in a way, I guess. And so I want to pull this up here so you guys can look at this before we go on here, because this is very important. Okay. Oops, hold on. I want to make sure I do this the right way. Let me do this. Five. Okay. Here. Okay, right here. And it's right here. Okay. 354510.1 stalk defined. As used in this chapter, stalk means a knowing or an intentional course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another person that would cause a reasonable person to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, and or threatened. The term does not include statutorily or constitutionally protected activity. That very bottom line there is very important. All right, we're going to now move forward here, and we're going to look at the most important 354510.5, which is criminal stalking. A person who stalks another person commits a level 6 felony. The offense is a level 5 if at least one of the following applies. A person stalks a victim and makes an explicit or implicit threat with the intent to place the victim in reasonable fear of sexual battery, serious bodily injury, or death. A protective order to prevent domestic battery or family violence, and a no contact order or other judicial order in any form of the following statutes have been issued by a court to protect the same victim or victims from the person, and the person has been given the actual notice by the court. Yada, yada, yada. The person stalking of another person violates an order issued by condition of a pretrial release. The person of stalking of another person violates a no contact order. The person stalking of another person violates a protective order. The person stalking another person violates the order substantially similar to order described in subdivision 2 through 5 is issued by Indian tribe, band, Pueblo nation, or organized group, community. None of those things fit. Okay. The act is a level 4 if committed while the person was armed with a deadly weapon, or the person was unrelated conviction for an offense under this section. Okay. So I would like to know what she means there, because is yeah, I know. Is she stalking me? Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. Yeah. I mean, I listen. I have no idea what. Listen. Maybe she's talking about something that happened that we know nothing about. Maybe there was some kind of explanation that was told in that meeting. Too bad we weren't there to capture it. Maybe someone talked about something that happened. Too bad we weren't there to capture it. All right. The citizens of Muncie then came out and let her know that, they weren't really sure. Frank Barnett didn't really seem to understand what was going on because he thought this happened at City Hall. I mean, and I understand it's not a big deal. We weren't in City Hall, but he says, Shreen, I'm not sure if it was stalking a public building, whatever. Okay. I mean, it still applies. The sign said public meeting, so how was he stalking? Brandon says, so is it the administration's stance that attending public meetings is a crime? Will we be arrested if we show up to council meetings? Teresa Rawlings says, the sign said public meeting, so how is he stalking? Okay, says, that is not stalking. I'm sorry, but someone that works with the government would and should know that. Yeah, Brandon. That's very important. Okay, we get ready to talk about this because I said back, who's being stalked? Who is the victim? Who is the suspect? Where did this take place at? Is there a police report? Oh, wait. Are you referring to me when I attempted to attend a meeting yesterday, Friday, June 6th, and today, Saturday, June 8th, that had been posted as being a public by your administration for weeks? Is that what you're referring to? Or are you referring to me being a paying guest at a hotel inside a state park last night and today? Please speak your slander loud and clear and write your libel neatly. I am interested in following up with this comment. And because I wrote that, Shireen then blocked me on Facebook. So you can all see her stuff, but I can't. I am, because she made this on the city's Facebook page at a city meeting. So, I'm assuming they were conducting city business, whether we were allowed to be there or not. I'm now taking this very highly serious. I am going to contact the city attorney tomorrow morning. I'm going to contact the mayor tomorrow morning. And his extremely scared and crazy and non-manly ass and I are going to have a conversation about what the hell his secretary meant in this extremely slanderous and libel post. Because I don't take this funny. She was in that meeting with the chief of police. I demand a police report to be made. I want her to make a police report because the minute her dumbass makes a police report, I'm going to file a report for false informing. And I will then take that to the prosecutor's office, and I want her to be charged with false informing, and I want her to be dealt with as highly as possible because I'm not Joshua Kimbrell. I don't go to meetings and say F this and F you all. I don't jump out of there and call a bunch of old women bitches and go crazy. I don't do that. I yell when it's appropriate. I hold my ground and I go places where I am legally allowed to be. I push the envelope when it's necessary. I'm polite more times than I should be. But what I will not take is slander and libel against me. Because look, I don't give a shit about me. I care about the citizen that she does this. Yeah, I don't go to their houses. I don't go stand outside their house. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't do any of that crap. And in my opinion, she's not talking as a private citizen here. She's way crossed the line because she's made this on the city's page. She's speaking as the secretary to the mayor. While we were in there, she pulled her phone out and started recording me. I'm going to flip the script on her, and I'm going to do the First Amendment auditor thing, and I'm going to file for access to that video on her phone. I want to know where what that was, where she sent that to. I'm not playing with Miss Shireen. Shireen and I used to be friends. Shireen, and here's the thing that pisses me off and why I'm so fired up. Because Shireen loved when I did every bit of this against Dennis Tyler. She applauded it. She'd have me go up there. She'd have me do every single thing. She'd do every single thing. She would have me do every bit of this if it was Dennis Tyler. But I'm going. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, you're right, Jack. You're absolutely right, bro. That is true. The other issue here is, listen, I make no. There is literally no. I don't pretend otherwise. I am widely aware, like absolutely, positively aware that I am not Brad Pitt. Okay? I am not Charles Bronson. I am not Clint Eastwood. I'm like, surely there's better looking younger people that I don't know. I'm not Brandon Rudd. No, Paul Rudd. Who's a good looking young dude? Is there young people? Who's the funny guy? Who was in The Notebook? He's even old now. Bradley Cooper. I am aware that I am not those people. That being said, there is literally no way in hell that I would stalk Miss Shireen Wegley. I went back to my hotel room and I was just really mad and I turned on music. And the very, 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 very first thing came on was that Oasis song, Slowly Walking Down the Hall Looking Like a Cannonball, or something like that. If you think I was stalking Shireen, you must be high. Isn't that the song? Something like that. I'm just telling you, you don't want me to get into the weeds and say some stupid shit, then Shireen, you don't need to either. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know. It's funny now that going to meetings like this is the thing that we got to fight back against. Let me tell you, this is 1338. Oh, that's the lyric. I knew I had it wrong. Listen, I'm normally I don't know what you're talking about, Jack, but here it does. I knew I had those. I'm normally good with lyrics. I thought you're saying it's slowly walking down the hall faster than a cannonball. I thought it was slowly walking down the hall looking like a cannonball. If you think I'm stalking Shireen, you must be high. But okay, that's Kate's helped me out there. Well, see, that she's done her job for the day. I just don't like being accused. Listen, back in Winchester, I was accused of being in Missy Williams' backyard taking pictures because I was in an airplane and I had to make her look stupid. I've got no problem making Shireen look even dumber. I've got no problem. I've got no problem doing that. So I will do it. I will do it. The other thing I want to say is, real quick, I want to read, because there were a lot of people that sent emails to Dan about this weekend. A lot of people that said that they would send me. Oh, good. Oh, good. A lot of people said that they were sending messages. A lot of people were pissed off about this weekend. A lot of people were pissed off. So we've got one email here from an individual who sent an email in. I literally just lost it again. Saying this. Dan Camp, just because you claim you can have all 9 council members based off team building, that can't be used to bypass or skirt around what is law. You're a jackass and a clown. Just because you've already made plenty of money off the taxpayers' backs, I see you don't care one bit. Keep acting like Dennis and you will share the same fate. Although, listen, I'll be honest. I think he's worse than Dennis. I'll say that. As a conservative, I have no problem saying that. Prison is a good place for people like you. I'll say. Not Lewis. For people like you. I already know Wagley's stupid ass proofreads this and doesn't forward it to you. She's an all yes. Do
you need to forward it to me so I can read it?
I need to know who this person is. I thought I knew who this was. Do I know who you are in real life?
You seem to be having problems with vulgarities.
Well,
I have no issues with them.
No. I'm trying to figure out who this person is because it shocked me because I thought that this person was somebody different.
Or maybe it's exactly who you think it was and you just didn't know they had that in them. Anger.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, man. Like I literally.
Just read the damn thing. I'll change the thing to not suitable for work.
I literally thought I'm sending it to you there, Kate. I literally loved. Now I'm very shocked. Okay, because I honestly thought it was somebody else. I will keep you. I don't burn people here. So that's one thing I hope that we've learned is I don't burn people here. I will not burn you. I don't burn people. So everyone is always kept secret. I'm more than sure Dan is going to share the same fate as Tyler. I hope. The thing is, I don't know. I don't know if that's really going to happen. The thing is, I don't know. Our city was beautiful under Mayor Tyler's administration. Not all our roads are full of potholes. And well, now all they are. So, all right, here, let me go on. She's an all yes, bitch, and Trenton and Dustin, Trenton Bush and Dustin love her for sure. You are already done, you crooked piece of shit. Keep putting out your retarded updates that you obviously are so nervous you can't keep up your hands or words straight. Can't wait for the FBI to get a hold of you. Worst mayor ever and least transparent. Already know I won't get a reply, just like my other email. You are a rhino in every sense of the word. Can't wait for you to be investigated like Dustin Clark. Dirty Dan is your name in my book. And listen, the thing is, he received several of these messages from people. He received messages that were angry. He received messages of people who were nice and polite, but still mad. He received messages that were through the roof anger induced, cussing and yelling and screaming. Dan doesn't understand that he's dealing with the whole of Muncie. So he gets it all. And I don't think they realize that. And they worry about Christopher Bilbrey coming there and videoing and filming and taking and understand, it's absolute horseshit. So, they don't understand that they bring this on themselves. Okay. Before we end, I want to say, number one, we are going to expound on their results. We're going to take another show. I'm not going to talk about the whole retreat anymore. It is what it is. We are going to talk about their results because their results are what they're going to be doing going forward. So what are we going to expect? What did the taxpayers get out of this little retreat? Now, I'm also expecting a bunch of record requests about this, about cost, about emails. We are going to get some more information about this, but other than that, we'll only talk about it when that comes, or when we look into the results more. I do want to go back and hit Alva's point. You needed about 8 or 10 other people up there to try to get in as well. I had not talked to anybody before I went up there. I heard what Nora said at the council meeting on Monday, which was there were 2 or 3 people that were going up. Did Andrew Pop tell me he was going? Maybe Andrew Pop told me he was going, but I didn't think he would. I didn't think anybody would go. I did not think anybody would go. I know Audie would have went, but Audie was at work, and I respect that. I'm not, you got to do what you got to do. Everybody's got to do what they got to do. This is why I'm mad. I am mad because they made it impossible for people to go. And that's a bunch of crap. They made it hard on people to go. And I agree with GW and a lot of other people that said that they probably didn't think I was actually going to show up. And so what they did, and this is what pisses me off more than anything, they put that thing up. I know you had to work. They put that up thinking no one was going to show up. And then when we asked him on Monday, hey, was that open? Well, no one came up. Now they cannot say that. Those lying, dirty, cheating, no good nothings, they can't say that because I was there. So I'm going to talk to Luke Britt and get to the bottom of what's going on between Dan, Nora, and my conversation with Luke. Because I don't care what Dan or his attorney or whoever told Luke Britt. I told Luke what was on the agenda. If Dan has since changed what was on the agenda, that's on them. He's lying. And we already know that he's capable and willing to lie. No, I told him I was coming. I let them know. I went to the meetings. I told them I was coming. I sent them emails letting them know I was coming. In a, what does Matt and Blonde say? From a castle tower in the sky and live from his mother's basement. I hate him. Anyway, so that's that. We're gonna be looking at what we got out of this. That'll be interesting moving forward. I'm also gonna push back on this stalking horse shit because I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's gross. I think she's gross. I think she's extremely gross. I think it's bad, and I'm not going to let her get away with doing this and saying this. Even though I went back to making the thumbnails, I've stopped putting the thumbnails up at the beginning of the show, so that makes it easier for making shorts and things. Here's the thumbnail. So, who's Bilbrey stalking now? Well, I'm going to have her tell me. Someone said they sent me a picture here. Hold on, let me look at what this is. Yes. That's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. Well, now, in all fairness, she didn't specifically accuse me. She just says, I'd be more interested to know what an attorney thinks about stalking. So she's going to be like, well, I meant meh. That's why I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm going to see what I can do about getting Dan to shut her up. I normally am able to get Dan to shut her up for about 6 months at a time. And it's been way past. She went the entire election season. And it's time for her to lay off of social media for a while. Okay, in ending the show. Yeah, yes, timing issues. That is hilarious. In ending the show, before we roll out of here, I want to talk about Hoyt Avenue. Hoyt Avenue. Okay? Stumblefoot. I got to tell you. My grandparents owned a couple rental houses over on 18th Street. And I showed you that one day, my grandfather's house was over there, and they live out in the county, and they'll take that way coming in from time to time and do different things. And so they've been listening to us talking about Hoyt. And so my grandma's now getting back to normal. She's walking and doing things, and they're driving and stuff. And so she wanted to go see timing issues. Is that still a road? I thought they just shut it down. Hey, timing issues. Hey, can you tell me who's working on that? Does anybody know? Anybody here know Is it that I don't know who's working on it? Stumblefoot, the people from that area. I need to know this. Who's working on it? Is it the city of Muncie working on it? Is it who's working on it? Is it utility companies? What's going on there? I need to know what is happening with the Hoyt project. Oh, all right. Hold on. Can you send Audie an invite? Kate? Hey, is my grandmother still here? If you are, text me. Not told me she was going to bed yet, so. HWC Engineering. Yeah, we're gonna get the grandma's story. It's coming. I want to know if she's still here. She might not be. I might have to show her this part tomorrow. Oh, Audie is here. Look at Audie.
Good evening, everybody.
Hold on, let's get ready for Audie. All right, let's go.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
That is, let me get this cigarette out because you wouldn't smoke a real one.
Yeah. Oh, they're here. She's here.
Okay.
Grandma's here.
This has been going on for about 10 years. This is the
okay. Yeah.
It's through MSD.
Yeah.
It is the guaranteed savings. Bowen had a contract with them. This is the same shit I was bitching about a year and a half, 2 years ago when they changed that manhole on 8th Street.
Yeah.
Same company, Bowen. They're a union company. It is a guaranteed savings thing, and they get paid time and material plus 20%.
Okay.
So if it takes them 6 or 8 months to do this project, they get paid all the money they spend plus 20%. So if they spend
it's taken longer than 6 months.
Well, it went down to right after Thanksgiving, right?
It went down, yeah, right after Thanksgiving.
So you're 7 months in it, and I drove on the road yesterday on my way home from work, and they've got just a little section down here by 12th and Hoyt to finish up, and then it looks like all they have to do is put the asphalt on, mill a little bit of asphalt, and then come back and
December 11th we're hearing.
December 11th.
That's from somebody down in the mix.
Okay, so that's been 7 months.
Yeah.
So it's a guaranteed savings project, and there's only a couple companies in the United States that does guaranteed savings. And actually, it costs a lot more money than if they were to bid it out and do it the normal way. But since MSD is paying for it, they're allowed to use this guaranteed savings, and that's what it's about, If you remember the manhole at 8th and Acre?
Yeah.
And I kept saying it was guaranteed savings and it was going to take forever and all this, and they said it was going to take forever. That project, bid for 4 times the price that it should have bid out for. It's costing people that pay their sewage bill in the city of Muncie and taxpayers money because it's taken so long.
Yeah. Why is it taking so long?
It's a pretty deep sewer, and it's just like that project over on Wheeling.
Well, they drove by the other day. Yeah, right.
They
drove by the other day, and it was like 90 degrees outside. It was a beautiful day, no rain. It hadn't done anything, and they're just driving down the road. Nobody's there. Like one man's just walking down. My grandma's like, where are all the people at?
Okay.
Why are the shed towners not coming out and complaining about this shit?
Let me tell you this. On a guaranteed saving project,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked for Bowen. That's where this scar came from, was Bowen Engineering. I worked down and I worked down here by the sewers they put in front of the post office down High Street and all that. I worked in all that down there about 9 years ago. And the guaranteed savings is Bowen does not work over 40 hours a week. So if their start time is 7 o'clock, they get off at 3 or 3:30 or sooner. Okay. It is a union outfit, and they do not pay overtime. Bowen does not like to pay overtime because they are guaranteed savings. They're not having to pay for that overtime. So they're making 20% of whatever they spend. So they stretch the jobs out longer than they normally should run because they're making time and material on them plus 20%. So on $4 million, figure up 20%. What is that? After everything's said and done, all the bills are paid and everything, they got to pay their administration fees. They got to pay their supervisors, their project managers, all that stuff. And after all that pricing comes in, then they get 20% over cost.
They arrive at 8. They arrive at 6:30 and they're out at 3.
Yes, that is correct.
That's a bunch of horse shit.
8-hour day.
That is nuts. It's because listen, it was joke like we were joking about it because like we would be driving down that way because when my grandmother was in the nursing home, my grandpa and I would go get breakfast and stuff, and we'd drive back by that way, and he's like, man, when are they going to get this road fixed? And then like grandma gets out, and we were joking, and he's like, well, that was been down since before your surgery. He thought he was kidding, and I was like, no, it really has been. It's been done since before the beginning of the year. And then like she was kind of out of it, and she didn't know about it. And then like we told him the other day, no, it's still down. And so they finally went down there the other day, and she's like, what is this?
And like I said, I drove down it the other day. The road closed signs are separated, but you got to be careful. If you're in a small car, you're going to drag your oil pan on the manhole covers and stuff. But the way it looks, they've got a little bit down on this end, on 12th and Hoyt end, to finish up. It should be done in a week. I would say milling. I'd say it should be open by the end of the month.
Okay, so that's your prediction, end of the month.
It should have been open a lot sooner.
Yeah, well, no shit.
And it goes back. Remember when they closed Wheeling Avenue in front of the Roadhouse, or not the Roadhouse? What is it? 909 or Amazing Joe's. That's the same people, same contractor, Bowen, that said it.
Yeah, but that was quick, man.
But they caught a lot of slack on that.
Well, yeah.
Remember, I come on there and on your show and said,
the people, the people from Amazing Joe's was
right. Yeah. And that's done faster because they was catching too much flack from the city or from the people.
Yeah.
They closed Hoyt down. We ain't catching no flack from it. Now they are. Now they're going to bust ass and get it done. But on them guaranteed saving projects, they make a fortune off of it because they charge for office personnel. They charge for every little thing. And the city of, not the city of Muncie sanitary district, whatever the hell you want to call it, MSD, is paying the bill. And this all started way back when under Dennis Tyler and all the people that was on the MSD board back then, all the Bill Smith and Joe. I can't think of his last name, but yeah, they had a big
dude. What was his name? Joe Evans.
They had a big cahoots with all that, and that's the reason Bowen's still in town. I was told when I started working for Bowen, once Bowen gets their equipment shit in a city, they stay forever until the money runs out, and the money's not going to run out. MSD, and It's just that simple. Is they're there for the money, and that's the reason. I think somebody asked one time at one of them MSD meetings that the MSD approach the state and see if they can push that clause of having the sewers separated between now and 2025 or whatever it was, to have them push it back and cancel it, because I think they've canceled it, but yet these guys are still doing the work. That's the reason they bought all them houses over there on across from Muncie Central, was because it was in a flood zone, and they was going to raise the levee. Well, they didn't raise the levee. They just put in some new storm sewers over there, and that's that. And you know, they're building the YMCA at one time. Where they're building the YMCA was actually a floodplain.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the levee wasn't raised.
Yeah.
Muncie Central is in a floodplain because the levee wasn't raised. But now they've changed all that. New regulations and stuff came out, but yet we're still doing all the work. We're still paying billions of dollars for that.
That's insane. Well, Grandma was pissed.
And it may be open by the end of June. Hell, it's only what, the 9th?
Yeah.
Today's the 9th, so they've got what, 21 days to finish it up?
21 days to finish it up for what?
Huh?
21 days to finish it up for what?
To have it done by the end of June.
Right. Well, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Finish that
Another
up.
3 weeks.
Looks like they needed a couple new sidewalks. I think they got it formed for some sidewalks and some curbs down through there. And
dude, it's a shit show down there.
You know, they're going to spend every bit they can. They're going to put new sidewalks in, there are new curbs, because Bowen gets 20% over cost. 20% over cost, and that's all the people, like I said, all the people in the office, all the people on the job, all the project managers, their little trainees, all that stuff. So if the job ends up being $8 million, you'd be surprised what that job's going to end up costing.
Yeah.
Somebody jokingly said $4 million road.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more than what you think, folks. That's a good little stretch of road down through there, and that's a lot.
Hell yes, it is.
And they went 20 some feet deep. But the problem was there's a couple houses down through there that the MSD had to buy because the sewers was backing up, and it wasn't the people's sewer in their house. The sewer water in the ground was backing up into their basements.
Okay.
Because that major line down through there was clogged up. And that's what they're replacing, was that major line down through there.
Good Lord.
But it's I think they went 20 some feet deep. I may be wrong. It may have only been 14 or 15, but I think that was 20 foot deep through there.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot to do a sewer that deep. It really
sure.
I mean, it's, we was 20 some feet deep downtown, and, we was lucky to get 1 or 2 sticks of pipe in a day. And when I say sticks of pipe, they're only 8-foot sticks of pipe. So, to go 16 feet that deep and if you've ever been in the soil in the city of Muncie, after 14 feet, it turns to sugar sand. And the sand just seeps in so much that you can't get ahead of it. And you got to put well points in and stuff like that to drain all the water out. It's a pain in the ass. It's an expense. So,
well, yeah, that's
maybe Muncie may become a swampland again. Who knows? It's coming close to this administration.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Everything we promise you, we don't follow through. That's their motto.
Are they the ones doing Macedonia?
What's being done on Macedonia?
They're closing the road down, and it's another shit show.
If it's a separation from storm and sanitary sewer, then they're the ones doing it.
I don't know. I'll drive over there tomorrow and see.
Whereabouts on Macedonia?
From like 12th down to 18th.
Oh, I didn't know nothing about that one. They may be,
if my recollection's correct.
Is that the new gas lines going in, maybe? I know.
That could be. Man, I don't know.
If they're closing the road and tearing the road out to put new storm in, it's Bowen Engineering out of Indianapolis.
I guess I'll have to go down there tomorrow and see. 12th to 26th Street.
You know, I was down there. I did notice some road work down through there.
Yeah.
12th to 26th on Macedonia. You know, I didn't even notice who was doing it because they would just look like they was putting in. It didn't look like they were putting in deep sanitary. They may be putting drains in through there or something. I don't know.
I'll go down there and look tomorrow.
Yeah, just go down there and look at the equipment.
Yeah.
If you look at the equipment, it'll have the company's name on it. It'll say It'll say Miller or it'll say Bowen.
Yeah.
If Miller, it's the gas lines, which is by Citizen, and if it or whoever's got our gas now, and if it's Bowen, they're working for the MSD. And like I said, the MSD board that's in there now wanted to vacate that ruling from the state and try to put it off. Muncie is a what's that say? Muncie is a test monkey for separating.
Test monkey for separating
That was a national law that you had to have them separated by 2020.
Yeah.
And I think that law went away, or they're not pushing it. They pushed it back farther, but yet still Muncie's spending millions and millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're the only city around doing it.
Yeah.
Now they'll go in and put new storm water treatment plants in. I worked on one in the Amish community up there. What is that?
Vern,
just north of Vern, and just south of Fort Wayne, but north
Adams.
Yeah, somewhere up through there on 27. We done one up there. I've done a couple different ones. But the guarantee saving plan is a big rip off because we could have got that project done a hell of a lot cheaper than what Bowen's done it for. You might do a records request and see how much that is. I'm looking.
Yeah, that would be worth it. That would be worth doing because I guarantee you it's a lot.
I think it's close. I'd say it's closer to $8 million.
Man, that's crazy.
I'd say it's closer to the amount of work that's being done and the stretch down through. What is that? Half a mile, 3/4 of a mile.
On which on what?
On 12th to Port.
Yeah.
Half to 3/4, maybe a mile long.
Yeah.
And that sewer work is not cheap, folks. It's not cheap at all. I'm working on a little bitty roundabout at 79th and Dean Road in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Project.
And what?
It's a $2 million project for a roundabout. And it's not nearly the size of the project that Bowen has done on Hoyt Avenue.
That's crazy.
Not nearly the size. We're putting all new storm pipe in. There's no sewer separation, but we're putting all new storm pipe in.
Yeah.
Completely out. And it's been on the news a couple times, tearing the road completely out and putting a roundabout in. And it's only a $2 million project. And it's only a 60-day closure.
Right. Yeah.
We get 60 days. We got 2 months to finish it.
I was gonna say I've never heard anything that you've been on that's been more than, it's always wham bam, thank you, ma'am, in and out.
Even the projects even the Amazon building I worked up in Fort Wayne. I was up there 8 months. But you got to realize we started from nothing up there and turned it into a massive building in 8 months. So
they don't do anything like that around here.
Oh no.
I don't care who's involved with it. They're not doing that.
CanPack went up pretty quick. But the city of Muncie had nothing to do with it. MSD.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dan tried to make it look like that he was part of all that deal, but that was not a Ridenour deal.
And Chris, I contacted Dan when I started working on that Amazon up there in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
They wanted an Amazon closer to Indianapolis. I give Dan the information he needed to contact the right people and stuff. And he had contacted him, but he had lost it to, I think it went in Crawfordsville or something like that. So he had the opportunity. He had him on the radar. He was in negotiations with him, supposedly, but he said he lost it. For an
That's
Amazon,
insane.
for an Amazon building. Yes, very much so.
Canpack is a joke and still not fully employed.
Well, they tried to put the union in. They got about 3 or 4 more months. They got to wait and try to do it again. But they're in litigations right now because because they brought in a union buster.
Yeah.
And according to the union policies and the federal government laws, they can't do that. So there might still be a chance that they get a union in out there, Canpack, but it is what it is.
Huh. Yeah, it is what it is. My grandparents were just talking about, I was just talking to my grandma about that today. It is what it is. Well, I appreciate that.
No problem.
I will go out there tomorrow and take a look at what's going on with Macedonia and Hoyt, or Macedonian down to 12th to 26th.
I've seen where they had, like I said, made crossings on the road, but I think that might be a gas mains. I think gas lines down through there, and I think them road cuts would be gas line where they've dug up to put a new gas line in or something. I don't know. I could take some pictures and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll get some pictures.
All right.
I'll get it down there. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one. Yes, don't forget. Hey, when is that party, the police party with that road blockage? When is that? Do you remember? I can't recall. What was the other thing that we got started here, and then we're going to go. Jack wanted to know what the cost of going to Camp Dan was. Dan Camp. Well, let me pull out my handy dandy calculator here. $157 for the room. Now, we know what happened there, but I'm just telling you what the total cost is. $157 for the room. $157 for the room plus $60 for the gas plus $40 in food. $40 for food, yeah. And then $15 it took for like parking. It took $60 for gas. $60 for gas. So the grand total that we spent here going up there was $272. And yeah, $272 and some change. So, and then plus an hour 250 miles up, wear and tear on the vehicle, you know, all of that shit. So, what are you driving a Yugo? I had a full tank of gas before I went up there. And we were doing good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Hey, please, before you leave here, number one, hit the like, hit the subscription, click that bell, and set up your notifications so you don't leave anything on the table. You want to know when we release everything, when we go live, when we do every bit of that, when we do all that. You want to leave it out. I also want to announce, it is a very important announcement. Today, the broadcast date of this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is the 9th of June, 2024. It is a Sunday. We are 160 days without a response from Counselor Basham. Today is the 160th day without a response from Dale Basham. Dale is a councilman. He should be announcing. He should be replying. He should be able to speak and be out in the open and be willing to meet people where they are. He should not be hiding behind closed doors. Today is the 160th day since January 1st, 2024. And we've gone these 160 days without a response to yours truly, or in my opinion, to any citizen. I don't know anybody they spoke to. So we need to watch that 160th day. Blows me away. I cannot believe tomorrow when we wake up, we'll be on day 161. That's nuts. All right, folks, you know what to do. Click that bell, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern for episode 222. Until then, you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a wonderful start to the work week. Have a great, peaceful week. Meet the world head on. God bless each and every one of you. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Good night. And as soon as I find this, we can say, God bless. Goodbye. I forgot what I was saying. You know it. Hello, Bree. Thank you for coming on the show the other night. I thanked all you girls the other night, but I wanted to thank you since you were on here. I'd love to have you come on. I'll talk to you about that, Green. That'd be great.